Greetings. Maybe I should have waited before I make this video, but things have just sort of clicked. I've just watched the Black Sheep Researcher channel, and the video is entitled The Divine Why. I will put the link in the description. So this in part is a response to that and to build up around that, which is why I've entitled this The Divine V. Because why is a question, and the quest I on, you are as king, you are asking. Because when you are asking why, or lots of why questions, you could say the plural of that is wise. So you are a wise man, generic man. So this may be a little bit all over the place, and I do apologise for that. I'm still partly processing, but at the same time, I feel this is so mind-blowing. If your mind is blown apart, that's got to be better than being bone apart with a physical vessel. Remember, there's always a spiritual to balance and a mirror of the physical. Keep that in mind with everything. So whatever's shown in the mirror in this reality is also being reflected from the spiritual. And the messages and what is being suggested in this reality is the mirror version of the spiritual. It's just looking at the things the right way round, hearing things the right way round. So, for example, a criminal justice system. Well, it's a justice system of criminals. This is what we live in. Right, where do we go with this? A little bit of background. I mentioned a few videos about the word cleave. That often comes up. Now that has two meanings, cleave unto and cleave apart. Now the Y is like that, and so is the V. It's the opposite of the A. Now the A is the symbol of earth. Let's get this the right way round. The A is connected with spiritual, with air, with ether, etheric, the pyramid, setting up a higher level with that bar going across. The opposite of that is the V, but with the line going through it in the middle, it's a symbol for earth. See the Levette channel, latest videos for that one. So the V, so you've got air and you've got earth with the A and the V. Because we are in an earthly physical form with this. So we're asking why. Well, this is where the V is so significant. I said on the last video, I'll draw it again to start with. And Paul on Black Sheep Researcher mentions this. It's almost we've picked up on the same thought current and coming at slightly different aspects with exactly the same thing in a way. Now you've got your symbol for Aries, which I said, depending on how you look at it, can be seen as a Y or a V. Now think of toroidal fields, think of the apple, think of magnetism, the way the energy flows. Again, that is forming a V or a Y. You've got two paths you can take. Now in this reality, it is all about divide and conquer. You concur, you agree, but you're only agreeing with a tiny section of the whole. Hence divide and conquer. Now divide. You've also got the vowel shift that comes into this. So it's David or David, it's which we know as David. King David as king, asking, Well, with the cleaving, it's tearing apart, it's opening up. It's something you do pretty much every day, I should think, of your life. Because if you've got a bag with shopping in it, what do? You pull it apart to look inside. This is about spiritual as much as anything else here. The answers are plainly in front of us if you think about it as well. The why. If you look, you've got eyebrows or eyes and a nose, or you've got the mouth and the nose, which you could say is like forming Ys. It's, as the saying was, it right in front of your face. It's right on your face. Because you've got to go inward to see that you are not this physical vessel. So what you're faced with is a physical form. You're an expression. This is going to get complicated. I do apologise. So this letter V, it's all about divide. It's all about splitting. But there again, at the same time, when we look at it in a religious point of view, the breaking of the bread, the breaking the seed apart, it's pulling apart. So the shoot will come out and go towards the light. When you have the birth from above, as Neville Goddard explains in 1,260 days, 3.5 years. It's a reference again to, has shown us 3.5 days, the crucifixion, the ascension. But when the sun, or when you see the sun will call you Father. And you will know who you are, which is I am. The name of the Son is David. So, out of that V, just draw it again. You've got this. Now if I put this on top of it, it's pretty much like an interpretation of a flower. It's also a downward arrow as well. It's descent of man into physical form, you could say. Now with the Y, which is like that, you've got the V again. Now it's also been changed into that. But if we go back to what that has come from and what that is missing on top, it's the Ankh core. And you'll see what happens with magnetism. What goes out comes back in either way. When you have a bright idea as well. Do you see the light? How often is that shown as a representation of something of light? It's also shown on the Statue of Liberty, Apollo, a pull low into a pull pit. Hence you rob Peter to pay Paul. The body is your rock solid foundation for your spirit. Because you want a rock solid foundation. I can go so many different ways with this. I'm trying to stick to the letter V, but I'm struggling a little bit, you could say. Oh, don't say the lighter's gone. Oh dear. Good thing we have a flat duality, you see. I have two lighters. Just in case for such things like that. Anyway, going back to this letter V. Now the I, which you all are, because you'll all say, I am this or I am that, is vertical, but everything's been flipped. We're like that, because we're on Earth, we're on a plane. But the I, I'm just trying to think if this is going to come out the right way round. See, you've got the K, you've got two ways of going, up or down. But it's the V again. What you're looking to take is the right path. And it's also said there is no right or wrong. So you've got this V. Because you want to open up to find the light in sight, to raise that Christ consciousness, which is that the anchor of us. So, which is the right path? Well, there is no right path, because you're left with two choices. Neither are right. It's the wrong spell, the wrong spelling. It's R-I-T-E. So, it's the middle path, the one you can't see, to the singular mind's eye. What did we put here? So I'm going to bring in some other letters into this, but it's not another letter, it's the same letter twice. It's double V, which is pronounced as a W. Now, if you're watching magic tricks like pulling the rabbit out of the hat, whilst you know it is a trick, it's all an illusion, but you are wowed by it. So the wow, VV, VV, round either side of the whole, the O, the all-seeing eye, you could say in that sense. So you're wowed. But it's a trick. It's not honest, is it? So the W is a flipped over M, which is magic, which is magnetism, which is not a trick. The M and the W, the one is the mirror of the other. Like I said, we're in a duality. We're in 2 days, don't forget. A conscious and an unconscious. But one day is no more real or less real than the other one. This is almost like the icing on the cake to everything with this. See, we're giving a thing with those two choices. Okay, the K. There's the V again. These words all connect in. It's incredible. So the free will. Well, what is the will? Well, you've got a W. It's bad magic because it's ill. Using your free will, you could take the wrong path, because both paths are not, neither of them are the right path. So the free will, well, let's shuffle things up, because things have been shuffled up. You just have to rearrange the letters and keep in mind the vowel shift. The free will is the frei in German. It's fire. Because now going over to the astrology, Jupiter and Mars, it's all to do about war and fire. It's about red, it's about hell. So it's fire will, it's free will. So the V, it's all about the cleaving. When you see, you leave. And the C, in the leave, you've got that EA again, the energy of the all. The flipped over V, it's put back together instead of coming apart. It's all shown with that letter V. So it's a bit more to add on to that. I will go over some of these points again probably in future videos, but do look at Black Sheep Researcher channel, do look at Levet's channel. They will show you the same things, slightly different interpretations, but it's all showing the same message all the way through. Now something else as well that's come out of this. I can remember years ago I had a particular brand of or type of beer in Cologne called Kölsch, and the next day you feel like your head's been split open with an axe. Wow, has that got a kick to it? But it's alcohol. It's the wrong golden liquid, as it were. But it's intoxication. Well, what's in the middle of toxic? To cross, I see. If you see the cross of that, because there's three crosses. You've got your mutable cross, you've got your fixed cross, and you've got your cardinal cross. Now, I'm going to refer you over to the Levet channel to find out about those, because this all ties into it as well. So I'll leave that there. There's loads in that. Do ask questions, anything you're not sure of that, but it's all about the duality, about the cleaving apart, the V, the divide and conquer, the David. It's opening up to see the light inside, see how much light you've got inside. As Paul showed with the Y, the Egyptian feather, the weighing of the feather against the heart. This all ties into it. You've got the balance, the scales, but if they're both heavy, it's going to form a V or a Y yet again. Also, how do we pronounce the Y and the V? Yahweh, Yahweh. Put a bit of humanity in it. Yehovah. It all ties in again. Plenty to think about with that one, I think. So I say ta-ta for now.